was receiving a gift. Okay, if I don't like the class, Nikolay is recording it, but if something, I will just delete it. And so this gift, the book of Eric Franklin, and we read it with Maria some time ago back when he was dancing. It was interesting to see a more not scientific but more like creative approach, more deep approach to finding the images, to finding some in-depth search of your body, of different patterns, some fundamental aspects of movement. For the dancer is awareness of your own weight, how you're doing with it. You feel compressing it, getting lighter, heavier, awareness of space, how we visualizing what we do with space. And one of the transitions from a classic ballet, when it was all like center axis and all linear up down, so only this like a geometrical approach, was not simplified but very organized, and then transition to expressive art, contemporary art, where the people like Martha Graham was introducing the idea of visualizing your path in space. So when it's not just one element and goes to another, but how envisioning your path in space and planning, thinking when the space will open for you, how it will be like molding around you, that this all can give a different clarity to a movement, a different presentation of your routine. And then also how well we can use our mind, how we can recognize that clarity of intention, adding tremendously to the clarity of our movement and to the such quality as effortless. And we might start with just like a first practical thing. If I ask you just to staying and think about turning your head to the right. So you're thinking and you're turning your head to the right. You turn your head to the right, and now you staying, and before you do something, you think, I want to turn my head to the left. You think, turn your head to the left, but actually turn your head to the right while thinking that you want to go to the left. So you're thinking left and you're turning right. You might recognize that there is a certain conflict, a certain resistance within you. Yeah, so counter intention. I'm thinking left, but I'm doing right. So as much as we can use this experience to like approach creation of resistance in our routines, like I'm thinking of like keeping my leg in the back, but while thinking I'm actually sending it forward, that we might create the look of resistance not by talking about each and every muscle and how we're tightening or losing it, but just the idea of doing versus our intention. How I might think I'm keeping my eyes open, but while thinking they open, I'm closing them. And this dissonance between what I'm doing and what I'm thinking I want to do gives me a sense of resistance. But I believe that in this particular exercise, the point is, if you will visualize your right and then you will do right, then you might be on a very clear path, that there is less trying on the muscle way, but just executing already prepared set of commands. And this is the simplest thing. And I remember one of my friends back in Moscow, he was spending hours just like opening his hand. And I was at this point a little confused why like doing it hours and hours, and like maybe he was doing it too much. But the clarity of gesture is of tremendous value. We might sometimes put our arms sideways, but there are so many other things in our mind that it didn't make any sense. There is no value in it. There is neither direction, no clarity, no meaning, because it's just the part of some noise in our head. If we can calm ourselves down, and we'll try just to visualize. Have the intention of opening arm to the side. So the moment when we'll be doing it, you might feel that the path for the muscles, the particular contraction of the muscle, is already prepared, is already waiting for you there. And again, it's your intention to, and we'll talk a little bit about the space. Will you be gliding through the space, or your intention is to present a flow? Will you be cutting through the space, so then it will be a totally like a different set of, I don't know, will it cut forward or side? Will you be supporting yourself with space? Then if you have taking a moment to visualize it, your whole body might be communicating, coordinating, complying on a different level. And you know that I always, with the compliments to what I see from you, but now when like trying to get myself ready for this, I can look back at all my visual perception from what you're doing, and I must say that more often than not, we don't spending enough time to prepare the intention, to build up the idea of the pathway or a particular muscle pattern in our head prior to executing it. Taking the moment to visualize it with the most clarity we can do. And this is something we'll probably try also today, to just take a few extra seconds to breathe, to visualize maybe a body part which is moving, but maybe visualize the whole shape of the body. So when we get to some positions, not just the new where my arm goes, but how my whole body will look at the moment when I make a step and open the arm. Okay, so one of the phrase we'll start with: at home in your body. So when you're at home, you probably would like to have light in the rooms, that it's lighting up. Our body parts is our compartments, our pantry, our kitchen, our bedroom, our dining room, and like we want to know exactly what inside our house. We want to feel at home in our body. We want to be aware of different body parts. And let's just take a moment to recognize if our inner space, our body parts, is something we want to be absolutely familiar with. So I think what we do more often is we're using our arms. So if you'll just take a moment to feel the space between your wrist and your fingers, if you try to feel the fullness of your fingers, the space you can all create in between them, the space you can embrace with the palm, the warmth, the mobility, how index and thumb relates to one another, how they can reach out or be collected in, how they can flick and roll and rotate. So just, and now let's do this without looking at them. So maybe we want to look and notice the skin, the length, the space, but then if you just leave them like outside and you try to use your kinesthetic sensory awareness, how I'm moving it, how my skin stretches a little bit when I open it, how it softens when I'm contracting, how there is a little tension in my joints when I'm like pressing against some resistance, or if I'm trying to like open to the maximum, that I'm kind of pressing my. So this area have more to do. How we can do one at a time, all of them together, all the lights in the room, yeah, or dimming a little bit, or strobe, yeah, getting a little bit further. So let's just go slightly low. What's in our wrist? Can you feel it's like a doorway from your fingers and palms to your arm. So in the wrist, when you go through it, can you feel the flow, the passage through the wrist, how it can maybe get a little tight and narrower, so you have to push through it, or how it can be very oily and soft to pass whatever in your arm, and you can notice. Let's try to notice different angles, how we can like stress it and try to this way or that way. So this have a lot of discipline. Or if we stopping, like for example, the moment when the partner is coming to you and you want to show the passionate touch, and how you don't know if you want to like eat him alive or you want to reject him and you still haven't decided. So it's a lot in your wrist. It's how you are torn apart between different intentions in your body. So let's get further. Let's get our elbows, and let's just see that we know, for example, we can feel if it's light and floating, and if it's getting a little heavy and start falling down. If it is like tight and we're ready to create some summoning, or if it's very soft and the arms are floating through like a little steam around us. So attention on the elbow, how elbow is creating this like a little gooey patterns, like a little bubble gum when we take it, when the kids, you see like chewing it and then they stretching it all. So how we can think of our elbow a little bit like it's pulling the lengths from the wrist out or down. So what's the range of motion? How we can feel really stressed in our elbows when we go somewhere, how it can be fully open and like pressed out, so it's warm and mobile, and we can, for example, try to secure the biceps and still can do something round if we're using some rotation here. How we can think that elbow, this is not the most obvious, but how you can think elbow moving away from you. So either a range of motion between being closer, like if I would be staying on the floor and the joints will be pressed, or if I would be working it out and feeling that the full volume of my arm have a lot to do with sensing the direction in my elbow. If I would be doing like a full elevation, the extending the elbow further out is important. If I want to show some moment of, I know, painful experience or something deep emotional, then we can go with our elbows narrower than comfortable. Like this, we're like, okay, it's basically a gesture. I don't know, how are you? What's up? What's up? But if we're pulling it towards our belly, then there's a moment when you, I don't know, portraying a drug addict when he's struggling to get the dose or whatever pain, or like a fever. Sometimes you and what's when we have fever, we are in a very intense emotional state. We are afraid for our life, or we like hate someone till we like are shaking, and when you will bring your arms to the place where they usually come in the zone, this will send a message to the people that what you're experiencing is of a high intensity. So it's like a vibration, like a frequency. So whoever is watching you, seeing this, basically giving them some of this vibe, some of this frequency when they felt something, or they become compassionate to your feeling. And then shoulders, just checking that we feel the freedom in our armpits, and we feel that they can be open and going like here, and that they can be all the way up when we do some like a pre-morning stretch. So yes, this is again something very sincere and emotional. We can pull them back when we like ready to fight, and we try to portray ourselves as a alpha monkey. Ladies, not for you, yes, but Brendan is here, so we can move them one by one. So just a little isolation, that this room you can connect to other room, you can close it, and there will be some action in this room just by itself, and just exploring that it can be compact, it can be a little big, it can be huge, and can be fast and in the different patterns. And let's say if we will try to make that our shoulder can be the leader. So if we'll lead with the shoulder, and we'll try to bring some movements initiated from the shoulder. So maybe it will drop you, maybe it will squeeze you, maybe it will like contortion, yeah, some thing, but just giving a little exploration that shoulder can be as expressive as any other part. So let's get to our neck, and if we'll just do a little bit of, we know what neck, we can choose all the directions, we can do some circles, we can think of extending maximum our back surface or front surface or side, or we can try like in some yoga and alignment classes when they asking you to think about your leg and the balance between your adductors, abductors, quads, and hamstrings, and how all these four corners, when toe, they creating a pillar-like feeling. And then it's not that we need to tense our neck, but the whole idea of creating a supportive flow through your neck to carry your head at the position of functionality and the position of attitude. That's very important. So when we feel some movement, let's just try a little bit in the throat, a little bit low area. So when you get there, it might relate a little more to the chest, and how like when we're swallowing, and we can feel the passage of the energy through the throat up through the into the mouth and into the palate. And the other way would be to be a little more focusing on the top, where we have atlant, the joint connecting our skull. So if you try to keep the base of the neck, but be a little loose on the very top of it. And for example, when turning, also trying to feel that you're not using more of this to turn, but you try to isolate a little bit more. Let's just do one exercise, which we're not usually doing. We'll lean one way, and then we'll try to shift another way. So we'll be leaning and then shifting a little bit other way, like doing this little brush strokes with the hand. Leaning and And for example, just again, as a little explanation of what's available, let's try to do circular motion, but we'll be going soft through the back portion, and we'll go and reverse, and pick up, slow drop, and pick up, and find the moment when it's comfortable to release it. Good. Okay, chest. Let's do a little warm up of our awareness. Let's start with a simple thing. Breathing into the front. Into the back. To the top. To the diaphragm, like belly breathe. Good. Let's press our ribs and let's try to breathe into the side. So we securing this and this a little bit. So we're directing our expansion to the side. So this is obviously one of the passo doble things when you think of a tight corset and while limiting your explosive emotions, you feel how from inside you bubbling up and you building it inside like a little, let's say, preparation to open your wings. So let's just try to think. If you hold it, and we'll do a few more times, pressing. Now you try to do the same without pressing, just direct your ribs and feel how the movement in the arm is about to follow. So you do the breath. And then you just feel like somebody reminding you there is no more ropes around you. Like you was feeling some ropes and you used to live with them. And then it goes freely and big and up. Yeah. Let's try to do one more thing. It's of course already going low into the belly, but if you'll think that when we're inhaling and we're not letting this part doing something, we go down. But now when we think of our stomach area, we'll try to put arm on the kidneys and we'll try to think that when inhaling, this like diaphragm stays, so we not allow the chest to expand. So we have the middle part, and it's when compressing expands forward, back, and like this, like to the kidney. So this is, I don't know if you can see the movement of my arm. Might not feel it yet, might feel it right away. This awareness is something which can be very helpful to the moment, at the moment when we want to find our center, when we want to create this, when we want to feel our lower back and do it not just by forcing the muscle, but relating to the breath and finding that this area have mobility. It's not just like sticking the butt, but we consciously can play a little bit with the curve. We can let it rest more, or we can not just muscle it to the straight, but feel that through changing the inner space, you can give it fullness, and then this will be the fullness which will kind of make you feel like you have some float inside you, which can be used for your expression and lightness and reliability of your weight. Okay, just a few more. Belly. Let's of course get to all our belly pelvis. So how the stomach area is really, really, really important. There are so many ways to move it. Let's just start with the simple circles. let's try to break. So we go forward, side, back, side, forward, side, back, side, 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 forward, back, forward, back. Let's see if we can do the same with the closed legs. Tap, 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 forward, side, back, side. So when you do this, you probably start noticing, okay, to do this, my knees need to be supportive. They need to kind of do a little bit of this thing, yeah, and seating and just doing a little tilts. Good. And let's try to do like really low and release, low, release, low, release, low, release. Good. Like joints, thighs. Let's just do a few, like passing forward, visualizing some kind of inflation, like we're putting a little flow into our leg, and once we're floating, we can feel that from the knee down, it just opens up like a inflatable mattress. Or if we collect, little tone in your butt, so the back flow forward, rotations about joint, knee, ankle. So we'll just speed up a little bit our lighting up our body. Let's I know, see that the feet can twist, they can go one by one. We can bend our knees, we can straighten them, we can do all different kind of movements. So let's just try a little awakening. So we'll go press, 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 rolling through the foot, flex. So relationship between the ankle and the knee and the hip. And yeah, here, 1, 2, 1, 2, belly, knee, foot, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And let's just make a little exploration. If we'll start the same element from the belly, so we stay in the same, okay, belly, from belly it goes up, and from belly it goes back. The leg can support a little bit, but our first intention goes to belly to initiate. If we'll send our intention first to our knee, so the knee would be the first one to invite the movement, to be locked, to be bent, to be locked, to be bent. If we change our intention to our foot, so how it's all about really articulating this toe and let the rest of the body kind of be supported and moved and challenged. Yeah. And just let's do other leg, but we'll do it a little different. The element, you see how it's supposed to be done? Let's imagine that the movement originates inside us, so like it's a belly and leg and everything. So you go in, and from inside it's like expanding, and finding the place to be, to feel, finding the empty room to feel, originating inside, like sucking it all in. So you go inside yourself, think where this like leg compressing, Now if we try to visualize that there is external force, that I know basically the pattern, but something from outside, like something rocked me, like a strong wind, or somebody pushing you from the back. that this movement can, like, something pushes at me from the floor, and I'm a little more of a receiver rather than initiator. So obviously you think it's now less about some transition side, but a little more about, we don't feel doing so much articulation, but we feel that we can have a different trajectory in space. I think it's pretty good regarding the at home in your body. So now, if I would say, like, you know your house, you know your apartments, where is kitchen, where is silverware, where is toilet paper, where is laundry. So you can describe it. I hope that at this point we are a little more clear about just awareness of the body parts and how we can plan. Let's say if somebody today, we have someone coming to our house to fix something, and I was on the phone. I was saying, okay, you go this way, and then you turn left, and then you like take a step, and then you see on the right side this panel, and there is a switch, and then the lamp is on the first tree. So can you be as descriptive when you will be telling someone to produce a movement? So if I would be telling you by the phone to do your sliding door, and like how descriptive you can be. It would like, was okay, one leg forward, leg back, or you can think, I have my standing leg, I'm aware of my arch. From the arch you feel the flow, and then you blah, 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 blah. Now, if we get to the some exploration of space, and we start with idea of, again, it's all like experience physically, but now putting it in some like a concept, you should give me time to get my language in place. Penetration, yeah, moving through space, getting into it, but we'll try to use a specific surface. So for example, we do a sliding door. Everyone knows sliding door. Michelle, you know sliding door? Yes, good, good. So how we can choose some unusual surfaces to focus on and give it a new feel, a new sense of awareness and precision. Sliding door, I don't need to, I'll show you anyway, you know, sliding door. Yes, back in place, and then here, side step, and then side step, pressure, pivoting and going backwards. That's it, turning and then going back again. Back, forward, delay step, and then two correction, 2 and 3 and 4. So let's start with something what we probably already done before. We'll choose the area of our ankle, and shin as an object which is the surface of our body, which makes a decision to lead us to go into the space. So you're thinking of the air around you is a substance. I was also thinking, okay, how we can, one of the supporting images is visualizing a substance and how your skin is rubbing when you're moving. It's like if you will be moving against surface, you visualize that you're rubbing against the air and thinking, okay, if you'll just move the open palm, we already can feel that it's not empty, that something is moving. But if we take, I don't know, a magazine in our hand and we'll try to turn or like do something, we will already feel a more resistance. We would recognize it's not empty. So let's see how we can think of a thickness of the space around us and how we can think of our ankle, and at the moment, like the area from knee down to your ankle to your big toe. So how this is the part which you start sending in space, and it's kind of going through, pressing into it. And then here probably you can focus on your Achilles, how it's cutting through space backward. So all the same, but now you're visualizing the substance and you cutting through it. Front leg. Let's see that it's thick enough for you to feel how elevating your ankle from flat to pointed, already giving your space a little cutting. Whoop. Yeah. I guess I'm missed the step. Pressing, cutting through Achilles, 2. So now think, of course, it's originating from your center, from the center leg, but really give the front foot this idea of a, I don't know how you call it, the knife to open envelopes, a paper knife. So think that you're opening envelope with your front foot, and 2, going for 3. Can you remember the sound of the envelope? Little, like a little paper cracking sound when you're moving through. If it's like, or it's a specific, yeah, when you're cutting the paper, it is a little like a thick noise. Yeah, so visualize it. That's how you're cutting through the space, so your ankle is pointed and you want to cut your envelope all the way till the end. 2, and your ankle is a cutting surface. Visualizing how the back leg have this ability, and in space you penetrate through it, you cut through it. Yep. And then you have like a little delay, and then you keep cutting your space. How you want to like clean after, and the back leg again is cutting, and it's like you want to cut it down as well. So it's not just forward, but cut it down by lowering your ankle. Yes. And then as you're pivoting, think of this as a little insertion. The same as it's as sharp as it is. Yeah, man, you can do much more. So notice the moment from where you start cutting it. Yes. 2, 3. So here we can think of a little cutting, but it's not really much. We go to the next one. And here we think we have a, no, I will not give you all the things yet. Pivoting and cutting through, pivoting, visualizing space. Yeah. That's okay. I know it's new, but how this one? So you don't want to cut the envelope, the letter inside the envelope. You don't just do it messy. You want to have a very clean cut all the way through the edge and placing it, and same here. When you're going back, it's a precision. Yes. Now, let me just say it once. I'm counting, and you're taking a moment to go into your visualization, into your intention. It is same sliding door, you know all the steps, but you give it a different intention. Ready. 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yep. Nice. Let's think of pressing into space. So now you're starting, let's say, in the same position, but now we can choose. We can choose a body part, a surface to focus on, and how the surface communicating with the space. So let's choose a surface of our butt and our hips. So it means the moment when we're starting, we can, we did some visualization with the rubber bands, but now it's everywhere. And when I'm thinking of pressing into space with my hip, I want to, if you remember, have you ever been fingerprinted for some visas or some documents? Okay, we've been done many times. Every time we need a visa to Great Britain, we go to like a service center, like you feel yourself like a criminal. So the guys, like, they pressing your finger, they don't letting you do it yourself, they like, and then they do this. So now, sorry if you don't have this experience, it's a fabulous experience. Feel like a criminal, but you're not, no record. And so now just think that we want to leave. Okay, other experience. You was on the beach, lying in the sand, and then you standing up and you see, oh, this is the butt print. Not the fingerprint, but the butt print. So let's think that we want, like, imagining that we're in a box with a little clay or plasticine, and we want to leave a particular butt print all over the space. Yeah. So this is our areas to focus on, and we're starting with our left butt pressing into space, creating a round, pure action through the space. And here we're focusing on the left, how we can, for the fullness of, we're pressing it forward, and then we're pressing it a little to the side, and then a little bit around, and then almost to the back. And then almost when you're leaving, your butt just leaving a little extra butt print there behind you. And ready, pressing into space. And pressing your butt into space. 2, pressing it into space. Pressing it into the back space. Now, when you go to your forward walk, just try to see if it can be done in a diagonal direction. So not right away to the side, but if you can, let's say like this. I'm giving you a big plank with a clay or plasticine or whatever used for the, like the key, for making the key, and you want to leave me a sample of your pelvic bone shape. So you want to print a form of your pelvic bone into this palette with clay or something. And then you're turning through. Yeah, ready? Just a few more times. And pressing our butt around, 2. And pressing it around, feeling the space around. Yes, less about sharpness here, but more about continuity and feeling that the range of motion can be different, can be extended, clarified, and with my count, please. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Yep, this is nice. Now, people are feeling. Let me see one more time. And ready. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So, okay, you can isolate, but it's fine if you will be a little more involved in highlighting the shape. So whatever you feel will be helping you to experience this, you can go into it, and because it's not the final way of us doing everything, it's just one of the ways to do things that you want to explore to its fullest. Yeah, exploring to its fullest. Now, let's, for example, bring our attention to the, again, it's a little generalization. I might be more picky and say like, okay, lead it with your with the skin inside of your middle finger, yeah? and it will be just a little weird, but we'll get there soon. Let's think of the elbows. Let's think how we, again, visualizing all this space, which is a live substance. And the moment we want to improve our space awareness, we get into the feeling of trajectories, directions, texture of our elbows. And look, it's too many elbows. Let's, for the moment, let's just pick our left arm in a pocket behind, forget about the left one. And just focus on one right arm. So how when you compressing, it goes into this place, and then can go out all the way. And then elbow is leading the elevation, and then returning, and the elbow is leading some form of closing and like hugging ourselves, and then elbow passing into the side and opening out, and how we can maybe exaggerate and do something expressive in our elbow, and how when we walk around, we can feel all the range of passing into the back, and then scooping it down for the purpose of rotation, and then we can maybe pass it through the head, and then have it right here as we go in 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So create some unusual trajectories. It might be what you're always doing, da 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 da, but it might be something more tricky and more explorative. Yeah, the whole point for us to explore something, because soon you'll get back to your drill and you will be doing all your basic movements every day. And now let's just get a little bit of fun. Left elbow. Yeah, in this pattern, what the elbow can do for us. So how are we doing this? Maybe it's going into, how it goes open, how it's turning. Do you feel that you want to keep it up and then do sharp and lead the body? Do you feel like you want to do it soft and then let the leg be pulled? Do you feel that it will be a slow exploration of roundness? Do you feel like you want to place a form? You want it to be stretched, like almost like a not broken, but fully extended elbow. And through this elbow, you can make it more dramatic in the way like, I can't live without this something, mama, buy it to me. I'm already scared. What will I say? Like when Olivia will be saying, Daddy, I want this toy. And I'm like, shit. How I explain that she don't need it? I said, Olivia, you don't need it. I will have to be more expressive, I guess. Yeah. So let's see. If you want to open it and break it, if you want maybe to go very private and very sultry, can you go into this feeling of closing eyes? Yes, yes. So can this elbow go all the way around and then like really, there's a moment where you're meeting your partner. So at this moment, can you really provoke him like, and the elbow will allow your arm to be right next to your face, and again, just the feeling of compressing from this elbow is something what naturally bring the wrist closer to your heart, emotional center, and every gesture like this always giving a sense of sincerity, warmth, femininity. We guys rarely do something like this. Yeah, only we earning and we scratching the fur on our chest. I know when guys who dancing Latin in open shirts and they have to shave their chest, then this hair start to grow again, and then it's crazy itching. This is when we do this gesture. But the rest of the time, ladies, it's your thing. But now, yes, I do it when I'm holding my baby. Yes, a young father's doing this until the baby grows big, so you couldn't fit it on your chest anymore, on your chest. Let's give our both elbows the freedom to be whatever they want. Maybe you feel they want to meet into some crazy thing. Maybe you feel they want to be far away from one another. Maybe going up, maybe one up, one down. And how generally, yeah? Ready. And I don't think I want to count. I just want you to pick your own pace because it's your intention. And for now, you're just exploring it. So my organized counting will most probably push you back to your grove, to the place you used to be. Now there is no time. There is all the freedom to fall off balance, but to be explorative, how the elbows and these surfaces are exploring the space, penetrating through it, maybe pressing, maybe rubbing it. So ready, you have your moment to do it, and I'm just witnessing. Okay, okay, very nice, very nice. Just a few things. So, Deborah, for example, if the arm goes into the top space, then either you allow it to be emotional and you like for a moment, you're saying, I don't care about the posture because this is about living this moment through, or you not forgetting about the posture and you presenting it as a coolest discipline in your back. Susan, if your arms goes to your hips, clarify your intention. Is it a slow teasing movement with your nightgown to be gentle, like very slowly pulled up, or it's a hungry just like when you go to dance a salsa, like oh, I want to do salsa. Yeah, so what kind of gesture? So yeah, pressing, or it's something when you stopping yourself because you want to go so much and then I cannot because but if I could, I would definitely burn the floor there, yeah? Michelle, you did cool thing of turning, but that was a little bit like, let's say, part of this exploration is to find the path, yeah? Visualize the path in space. So what if there is like you go this way, then how this path is not abrupt and then it's a chapter 2 after a big break. How this can be brought into the next curve without too much of a stress. Yeah, good. Gina, I think that it can be done. Let's say when we did one, we give it a total freedom of exploring how it goes. Another one too. Putting two of them together, you probably want your intention to include the whole body. So yeah, those are the one I'm aware how they're moving through space, but the rest of my body attached, engaged, organized into a system. So the moment when, like, let's say one arm goes somewhere, the other one stuck for a moment, I'm a little bit, it's like a little matrix. Oh, why the same cat run twice? Yeah, oh, probably Agent Smith is about to show up. Yeah, it's like a little glitch. So the moment if one elbow is going down, then the whole body adjusting to it. But if you decide to isolate, then it's a particular decision, not because suddenly the body is disconnected. Yeah. Okay, and just one little fun thing to warm up before the second class. If we'll do a kind of a Voronovich movement, and let's say we'll play a cucaracha, a samba Voronovich, a passo Voronovich. So how we'll think of space and our legs, we'll call it closing. So now the simplification of closing the space and then making a step by feeling I'm opening the space. And I'm closing and then I'm open. Closing and then I'm ready to open. And then I know how I'm closing. What I'm finding, how my body reflects, or how my self-observation tells me about the benefit of it. We can approach efficient movement from different angles. One is try to break it down to every muscle and try to activate the muscle and try to control the pattern of activation, blah, blah, blah. But in some cases, if I'll start explaining you in every detail how you need to take a spoon, or even worse, to use a chopsticks. So put this finger at 45 degrees under that finger, and the third one at 70 degrees on the left of this finger, and then lift your elbow and then bend your wrist. It will be crazy. Just go figure out. The chopsticks need to grab a sushi and put it in your mouth. So we can start from the other end of this whole journey. What needs to be achieved? The legs need to be together. Do I really need to tell you all of the muscles used, or there is some instinctive idea? So if my idea is close your legs, so you might do it efficient. We can say about the timing of it, or decoration, or sound, but the process of closing don't have to be described in too many details. And when you opening, you think, okay, if I want to open my legs, probably I just will lean a little bit, otherwise it would feel a little weak. So if I'll go there, then I'm opening. So this space needs to be secure. So even if somebody would like the space, a substance with the resistance, so I'm open against it. And I'm keeping my legs open against the resistance of my space, and then I'm closing. Like I know in movies, it's usually some portal. Somebody step in the portal and disappear. You see again a scenery and then portal and closing. Ready, please. And open your space and close. And open and close. And open, close. Good. If I'll think of something, and I will be thinking of compressing something, so I would be trying to catch someone with my weight, but then I would feel that whoever I'm catching happens to be stronger than me, and he pops me out. So I'll try to sit on top of, I know, a big pot and the lid, and I'm sitting on top of it, but there is a force picking me up. And I try to jump on it again, whoa, but I feel that the force underneath me is stronger and I'm replacing. And I whoop, it's again, it's simplification something, but try to feel this whoop, and you're getting there, but the force rejecting you. Whoop. And you're compressing, so visualizing whatever is underneath you, you can think of someone that all of this is getting into, contributed to compression. But then whatever effort you put, the force underneath you is stronger. Yep. And so we was closing, opening, we was compressing or squeezing or trying to, and then let's punch the space, let's break the space. So it will be paso, whatever substance I'm feeling, I try to break through it. And then a little crumbles falling on the floor. Yeah, and let's just do a few times in place. And really, your idea is just to punch, to get through. So the floor is underneath you. And if we go to, let's say, a different wording, slip into space or sneak into. We did some paso-doble Voronovich where, let's say, Suzanne, you have one of those, Bonnie, you have one of those, where you're building yourself up and then visualize that there is a, like you're waiting for, like if you're looking at the passing train and right in between the cabins, the wagons, you might notice a person standing on the other side of the platform. Yeah, so it, and then like this little moment, this little gap, and I don't know if somebody will be like a Bruce Lee, he probably can, like, I don't know, throw something and hit this little space. So you're opening, you're waiting for the opening to slip into it. And so visualize some opening right there. And if you will be getting ready with it for the step into Voronovich, can be in samba, can be in paso. Maybe even let's do it in samba. For example, you're staying and you're about to go into your zigzag. So that train is passing, that there is no more opening, not yet an opening, and you're building it up. And you know that you have to be ready. And the moment when there is opening, you want to be slim and you want to slip into the space. And here, like on the other side of the platform, let's say you're waiting for the next gap for you to pass to the back space. And again, you're preparing. And then this back mode, think of slipping into space. One, and you're waiting again for the new opening to get into this one. Oh, ta-da, 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 slipping into space. Yeah. Let's say as much, you can make a different priority, like we did in sliding door. I'm preparing for the same element, but I'm choosing my butt to be my main focus. So I'm saying I'm pressing against the space when I'm going into it. So I'm less worried about the quality of slipping into it, but a little more about quality of pressing in. Okay, I think it's time to close the subject because we have Wendy connecting us, and so.
Thank you. That was, wow. That was really cool.
Okay, good.
I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, really good.
Thank you for the feedback. Yes, I'm very pleased you're supporting shaking confidence here. And yeah, the more I talk, the more I find the ways to relate to my physical experience. But just this entry to the subject will, thank you for being with me while I was entering it. And my mind and my body was kind of finding the way to communicate better.
Did a great job. Thank you.
Let's